Hello, chosen one. Even smart minds ultimately look away, not out of malice, but because they are unable to grasp what is before them. You have not been forgotten. You've gotten to a higher level. Less than 1% have the remarkable capacity to change reality without trying. They aren't only CEOs and influencers. They are the chosen ones. The ones that stroll into a room and alter its entire essence. They don't want attention. They are the center of attention. Remember that recognition does not define you. Even if Elon Musk no longer acknowledges you, your presence on the earth will have a permanent impact. Why do they differ so greatly? Do they appear to have been sent from another dimension to question all you thought you understood about life? Is it their unwavering energy, or their almost supernatural capacity to see straight through you? There is no doubt that you felt it. Someone you encountered made you feel uneasy, perplexed, and perhaps even inspired. You know in your heart that they are not regular individuals. They are natural forces that create both chaos and clarity along their route. Let's take a look at what it means to be one of these chosen ones, and why their presence attracts others like moths to a flame. Hold on tight, because this isn't your typical how to be special spiel. This is the horrible and shocking reality. Your energy seems like a cosmic aberration. At number 1, people can sense your liveliness. Not only what they see, it appears that you have a frequency that defies normality and sends shock waves across everyone in your presence. This is not about confidence or charisma, which are easily defined and replicated. No, you provide something considerably more profound, unexpected, and frightening. For some reason, being around you seems like being too near to something raw and unedited. Your presence tears down the barriers they have carefully constructed around themselves, which is why they are intrigued. It simply happened. You don't strive to reveal them. Your energy should be sensed, not ignored. You do not fit in and never will. This type of attraction does not lead people to like you right away. Some people may find it unpleasant. They can't fully convey your passion or how you appear to see them more clearly than they do. It's also conceivable that you'll discover whatever they're attempting to conceal, not because you're digging, but because anything fake tends to shatter under the weight of your candor. This is the most startling aspect. You're doing it without realizing it. You just exist in your natural form. However, it is so powerful and vibrant that others cannot not but notice. For them, it's like meeting an inexplicable phenomenon, an inherent force manifested in the human body. It's intriguing, terrifying, and completely memorable. People cannot deny that your energy is unlike anything they have ever felt. Whether they like it or not, you force them to feel feelings they don't comprehend. At number 2, you redefine the norm rather than following it. You demolish the structure that everyone else accepts and recreate it to your own specifications. Most individuals spend their lives trying to fit in, according to the rules and fulfilling expectations. However, it appears that no one else hears the rhythm you walk to. Rebellion isn't about being different. Rather, it's about not seeing the benefit in sticking to a plan that doesn't make sense to you. This reluctance to fit in is subtle, natural, and unsettlingly effortless, as opposed to vocal or belligerent. You have a natural ability to stand out. You don't have to rave about it. Your refusal to accept mediocrity is mirrored in your lifestyle, thoughts, and manner of carrying oneself. People perceive you and must deal with the repercussions of their own compromises. It's interesting how you don't try to stand out. Actually, you may find it humorous when people compliment you on your originality or idiosyncrasies, because living life on your own terms is precisely how it should be. But for them, it's like seeing someone deviate from the path they've been instructed to take their entire lives. Nonetheless, you manage to excel in a new scenario without realizing it. You're redefining what is possible. Others strive to catch up and figure out what inspires you, but they never truly understand. That's because you're not following the rules that they comprehend. You have created a convention that is both reproducible and unteachable, which surprises people. Not only do you not fit in, but you demonstrate that they do not have to. They are left wondering why they have never attempted to test the limits themselves, which is both motivating and scary. In third place, You are an unrepentant mirror. You have a way of showing people a mirror, but it is not appealing or sugar-coated. It is unavoidable, honest, and unrefined. You reveal their actual identities. They have qualities they are proud of, as well as characteristics they would prefer hide without trying. You just exist with such honesty that everything wrong in their life becomes painfully clear. It's not as though you're passing judgment on them. Some people consider this an epiphany. Being near you gives them insights that they were previously unaware of, as if you've given them permission to embrace aspects of themselves that they've always been too terrified to admit. They leave your organization feeling noticed in a manner they never had before. Others find it uncomfortable. You force people to face things they've buried so deeply that they've forgotten they existed. Let's face it, not everyone is ready for that level of candor. The most ludicrous aspect is that you are not doing this on purpose. You're not out here trying to make people better or confront their problems. Simply, your honesty is so strong that any pretense is unnecessary. When you're around, people can't hide behind their typical facades because you make them appear silly. This explains why certain individuals are drawn to you while others shun you. Being around you feels like stepping into the limelight. And this is not because you are frightening or difficult to approach. There is no place to hide in a world concerned with beauty. You are a live example of what it is to be authentic. And one thing is certain, no one is ever the same after being in your company, whether they admire you or dislike you. You are a living example of the rare at number 4. Something in your lifestyle irritates others. You live up to your ambitious goals and amazing ideas. You don't just discuss them. You are living, breathing proof that what appears to be impossible is not true. They never anticipated to uncover so much proof. You do not make a big issue about it. It is not about bragging about your accomplishments or making fun of others. Most of the time, you're oblivious of your impact. However, those who witness cannot refute it. Your presence pushes them to face the harsh reality about their own limitations. You make them reflect on why they picked adequate when fantastic was always a possibility. It matters how you did it rather than what you accomplished. The rules they've been taught to obey do not apply to you. You take chances, make uncommon decisions, and thrive by forcing people to accept a hard reality. Why haven't you done it yet if you're capable? It's both exciting and disturbing. When others witness your accomplishments, this understanding ignites a fire within them. It pushes them to think greater and attain their own goals. Others find it terrifying. Instead of admitting they've been holding themselves back all along, they'd rather believe their ambitions are impossible. You are special not only for your accomplishments, but also for the way you represent promise in a culture that has convinced itself of its own limits. You serve as a reminder that life does not have to be predictable, which both terrifies and motivates people. They cannot ignore you. Regardless, you are a live contradiction to their preconceived notions of what is possible. You play chess in position 5 while they are still learning checkers. Your mind runs at a totally different frequency. You are already 5 steps ahead of them, taking into account factors they have not considered. Most people focus on the obvious, but this is simply how you are wired. Not that you're attempting to outwit someone. It appears that everything comes effortlessly to you, and you see connections, patterns, and answers that others do not. This is about depth rather than intelligence or superiority. Your way of thinking is diverse, strategic, and complicated. When others see a straight route, you see a web of chances, hazards, and detours. You anticipate what will happen next, often before others do. You don't just respond to what's in front of you. People are astonished by how simple everything appears to be. You manage complexity as if it were second nature, whilst others are obsessed with little nuances. Even if you are not boasting, it appears unjust to them. They don't comprehend how you manage so many moving components while maintaining the appearance of ease. This makes it harder to pin you down. To the greatest degree practical, you're unpredictable. You're playing chess and planning tactics for every outcome, while they're playing checkers, thinking in straight lines and focused on the present aim. And you've already changed the board's shape by the time they figure out what to do next. It's both terrifying and amazing. People struggle to keep up with someone who shares their viewpoint. They can't take their gaze away, whether they envy or respect you, since being in your company is like attending a course on how to navigate life's complexity. At 6, you have a unique approach to time management. You do not appear to perceive the effects of time in the same way that others do. You move differently than most people who rush to the finish line, either dashing towards ambiguous aims or squandering hours lazily. Your existence appears to have a nearly mystical pulse. It's never sluggish, but it's also not rushed. You feel as if the clock is bending to you, but you're not striving to beat it. You don't dread time, but you also don't squander it, even if it appears simple. Every movement you make serves a purpose. People are bewildered when they believe you have access to a secret chronology that they do not. Alignment is more important than velocity and volume. When you fill your days with purpose rather than just filling them, your actions appear larger and more significant. What surprises people is how much you did under the typical commotion. When you work at your own speed, you may do twice as much with half the effort as those who hurry from assignment to task. It's fluidity, not arrogance. You are aware of when to act, when to wait, and when to simply exist. Nonetheless, being around you prompts individuals to reconsider their own connection with time, resulting in an unusual engagement. They're not sure how to make every second count without coming out as frenetic, and they feel like they're racing in circles or standing still. It is both scary and inspirational. Time is a tool, not a trap. As you point out, you don't exist just in time. You control it and bend it to the rhythm of your goal, which is why people draw toward you, whether they know it or not. At number 7, you turned your grief into power. Your narrative and how you carry yourself are inextricably linked with your melancholy, which is no secret. However, it has evolved into the foundation of your power, rather than a burden that drags you down. You transformed that pain into something durable, and you accomplished more than simply survive what was attempting to destroy you, and people cannot ignore it. You stand out since you do not try to hide your background. You don't wear your scars as a badge of glory, but as evidence that you've weathered and survived storms. There is no self-pity or resentment. Instead, someone who has gone through the worst and refuses to let it define them exudes a calm, undeniable confidence. This resilience goes deeper than the sort that seeks compassion or praise when others notice your hurts. They are in awe rather than sad for you because they know, although unconsciously, that most people would have disintegrated under the burden of what you have gone through. But you didn't. You kept getting back up until the suffering became your teacher and motivation. You now emanate a seriousness that others struggle to convey since you have plainly traveled to places most people cannot conceive and returned stronger, wiser, and more grounded than ever. Your presence commands respect even if you don't express it. It pervades everything you do and serves as a gentle reminder that sorrow does not have to be negative. Rather, it might change. People are drawn to your tale because of how you transform tragedy into success, not the disaster itself. They are drawn to the strength you gained from your misery, not the suffering itself. You will never forget that type of power. You breached rules that they had no clue existed at number 8. You break conventions rather than just challenging them. You appear to be living in a world without rules. While most people accept the norms that have been created for them, invention rather than opposition is used to get attention. Where others see obstacles, you see opportunities and don't hesitate to take action. People hesitate because you make them question themselves, not because they distrust you. Your cognitive process and lifestyle are so individual that they appear almost difficult to replicate. You think creatively and will not accept conventional concepts. You challenge things that others consider to be law, and it's remarkable how frequently you disprove them. The rules of reality appear to be bending and changing as others observe you in your hands. Things that were once regarded unthinkable or unattainable become commonplace. You are defined not by your luck or vanity, but by your refusal to accept restrictions. Can't is an answer because to you, each can't is simply a barrier to be overcome. Rather of being inspired, many people have been afraid. When you're out here completely redrawing the canvas, People wonder why they've spent their entire lives coloring within the lines. It compels people to confront the boundaries they've set for themselves, and not everyone is prepared for that degree of thought. One thing is certain: you have fundamentally altered their sense of what is possible. Whether others respect, envy, or are just perplexed by you, the rules were never intended to apply to you. So you don't just violate them. As a consequence, your presence is unique and disruptive. At number 9, your confidence is double-edged. You don't require attention. As a consequence, your confidence does not depend on it. It emanates from you in a subtle yet irrefutable manner, analogous to an unstoppable force. How you hold yourself and go through the world with complete confidence in who you are is more important than how loudly you shout or brag. People are not used to being around someone who is completely aligned with their own goals. Someone who is so certain of their own worth that they do not require the approval of others, which is disturbing. This level of confidence is independent of other factors. It comes from a deep inner knowledge rather than accomplishments or applause, and it shocks people up. To them, it appears haughty, but it is not. When they meet you, they are confronted with a reality for which they were unprepared. You already value yourself so highly that you don't need their approval to feel significant. And most people aren't ready to confront reality. Some find it quite uplifting. They are drawn to you, almost seduced by the confidence you exude. You force them to analyze why they are unable to acquire the same degree of self-assurance, as well as evaluate their own doubts and fears. Others find it unpleasant. They feel vulnerable with you, as if their own fears and self-doubt are on full show. Your subtle confirmation serves as a clear reminder that they have not yet accepted their own value and highlights the places where they continue to seek approval. Finally, your confidence reflects something they haven't really acknowledged in themselves. Not that you're attempting to scare folks, and it alone has the capacity to be both powerful and frightening. They don't understand the weight you carry at number 10. Being special bears a weight, a sense of gravity, that others may feel but may not completely comprehend the deeper, hidden responsibilities you bear. Something that pulls at you from within, causing you to always grow and expand, is more important than fame, honors, or recognition. Your surroundings catch up to this weight. They understand the subtle strain that comes with changing your life rather than simply experiencing it. The notion that this weight is a natural part of who you are rather than something you desired is astounding. Seeing more, learning more, and experiencing more all have an impact. You are not living only for yourself. You also worry about your future and the consequences of your actions. People become more drawn to you, not because of sympathy, but because they see this more frequently. Even though you're carrying a weight they can't fathom, you've done it with such elegance and resolve that it almost appears natural. It's not easy. However, there are times when everything feels too much to take. There are times when it is simpler to step back, let go of the burden, and live a normal life. However, you don't. You accept that you were destined for it. Weight is an identifiable part of your life and a reflection of who you are. This is what people are surprised by. They don't understand how you handle everything and remain calm when carrying so much. They can't help but notice the contrast between you and them. Even if people congratulate you for it, it's fantastic and humbling to have connected with something they can't fully grasp. What you do is only one aspect of your remarkable personality. Another is the weight you carry so forcefully and purposefully that it impacts everything you come into contact with. At number 11, you elicit both interest and horror. You have a compelling attraction, yet it is not something that others can simply understand. They are always in wonder and confusion because of the difference you offer. You can relate to others in a way that makes them feel heard, understood, and connected, which makes you highly approachable. However, something about you makes people nervous, that ethereal quality that keeps them at a distance. They may adore you but never truly connect with you, as if you were in another universe. This inconsistency is both baffling and intriguing. They are pulled to you because they want to learn more and be close to you, but they are also afraid of what they will find if they approach you too closely. It is the polar opposite of being chilly or distant. People become more conscious of their own limits as a result of your candid presence. When they're with you, they have to confront their own potential or lack thereof. The experience humbles them and leads them to reconsider their whole identity. Even if you don't want to, just being there makes individuals aware of the tremendous gulf between where they are and where they may be. They are unclear how to respond to you because you are gradually undermining their sense of value. Do they look to you as an example of everything they want to be? Or do they completely shun you because being in your light pushes them to face aspects of themselves that they have been avoiding? In any event, you kept their interest. You have an everlasting impact on their life by making them feel small and visible. Your influence on how people perceive themselves and their potential is what draws them in, not just your accomplishments or your characteristics. You are a change agent at number 12. It's an awakening just to be near you. You do not try to change people's life or compel them to change. You don't have to. Your presence, attitude, and energy perform all of the job. You have a lasting impact on everyone. You get in contact. People leave you with not just fresh ideas, but also a new, unexpected version of themselves. The change is often minor at first and not immediately evident. However, after spending time with you, they have a fresh perspective on their own lives and opportunities. Something stirs inside them. They are forced to confront the reality that they have been living on autopilot, which gives them the most distress. You show children that things in their lives may change just as much as they do. And now that they know, they are scared. They are conscious that they have been acting small and holding themselves back. They can't stop seeing it, which worries them. After planting a seed, it begins to grow. The truth is now out there. Despite their best efforts to avoid it and continue living their lives as they have always done, they are dissatisfied with the person they were. There's no turning back once they've seen something greater and more powerful than you have. This has left them quite conflicted. Change is terrifying, and you are the cause for it. It compels students to face their own anxieties, limits, and, most importantly, potential. Some people may be resistant to reverting to old behaviors. Others, however, will rise. Whether they acknowledge it or not, they'll appreciate the transformation you unintentionally initiated. And thank you for it, since being in your presence affects their entire universe, not just their thoughts. Finally, the energy that resides inside you cannot be ignored. You've never been bothered about fitting in or following the rules. As a result, you are not compatible with the rest of society. You confront, awaken, and transform by refusing to be anything less than outstanding. You show them what is possible. You can't avoid being yourself. That is why your presence shocks people to their core. Not because you try. You serve as a reminder that borders are only mental constructions, as well as a living counterpoint to what they believed was achievable. They will attempt to define and comprehend you, but they will never succeed. That is why it is so wonderful to leave a lasting impression. You do not need to be understood. In reality, the uncertainty is what sets you apart. Intangible quality. One thing is certain. They will never see the world or themselves in the same way again. Whether they leave you feeling inspired, terrified, or perplexed, you are a watershed moment in their journey, not simply a part of it. You are the chapter that makes them think critically about all that has happened and will happen in the future. Finally, this is your gift to the world. A daily reminder that excellence is a way of being, not just a goal. Simply being alive demonstrates that you will not miss what is about to happen. If you were captivated by what you just read, make sure you don't miss out on anything that challenges traditions and encourages fresh viewpoints. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Please leave a comment below if this spoke to you so that we may continue the conversation. Also, share this with anybody you know who may use some encouragement or a new viewpoint. Working together helps us to create new challenges and adapt to changing circumstances. I'm interested to see what we discover next, and your support means everything. May you be blessed.